let me know if there's any issues. Yep, microphone's on, music should be going, shouldn't be too loud. Okay. Hello, folks. Sorry that I'm a little late. I totally didn't forget that I had this, set for today, but, I should have everything prepared that I need to. Let me replace this with the ego we're actually going to be doing today. Where'd you go? So many red egos. I can't. Ah, there we go. Exposition on page. There we go. Okay. So, you can see on screen the 3 things that I think I want to get done tonight. And so this is very much an experimental stream. I think next week we're gonna get into some of the sort of more basic stuff, generic enemies, stuff like that. But since Canto 9 is very fresh in everyone's mind, I figured I would get some fun stuff going. Something more experimental. Something that will kind of harken towards the future of what Stars of the City may have, depending on how Limbus Company goes, because we have some brand new hints about what Limbus Company might be going towards, and because of that, I assume once those chapters start going and we get into those plot points, we are going to see a shift in the content of Stars of the City campaigns, and so I want to kind of predict what that might look like ahead of time. And, we are also... let's do this first, however. Roadmap. So, we are down to 2 big updates before 1.0, and really, this update is just even more tidying up after 0.7. And then I want to do some sample missions. I have one very simple one early on. It is, about halfway done, maybe. Faith and Firearms, that'll have Singleton and ammo, firearms, all that. Maybe more sample missions. Sanguine Shadows, Blood Feast and Blood Fiends, as well as Deathrite and other mystical techniques. I might lump other effects into this, since we don't have many examples of Deathrites. More sort of curse-related things, like maybe Echoes of the Manor, could be within the same bubble as Deathrite. They're both kind of weird status effects of their own, but we will see. This is, you know, a idea, a hope, but it would require a lot more resources than just an individual mission would require, and I would want a lot of cool stuff for that, so I cannot make any guarantees, but let's add something. Boop. Let's call it this. Let's say I want to make this one fun to kind of show that it's an extra thing that we're thinking about rather than actually committing to. So, hello. That is not how you spell that. Let's... I do... Four... Hello, everyone. So, I've been quiet for a bit while I'm typing, but the idea for this, and this is just an early concept, is to bring in some of what I assume is going to be the late end of Inferno plus the early end of Purgatorio, as we seem to be getting into the second Smoke War, hence the smoke part, and also a lot more mirror tech, which is, you know, the mirrors. So, higher level play beyond 20, introducing EX levels and tools to scale higher threats as well as narrative tools to hard scale of the distance of this expansion relies on Limbus in the next years. Plans can and will change well before let's do long before this okay. Yeah, no. Smoke as a status effect is weird. It's something I can't really adapt very well into this, just because of how it works. I have some ideas, but they wouldn't really be representative of how it is in Ruina, so I might just keep it to myself for now. Because even my idea isn't all that good, because it can't really be expanded upon well. Yeah, smoke, not easy to bring over. Okay, so we have this. It works for now. What I wanted to do today, we are going to do Great Drachyliacosm. I'm thinking of basing it more on Yi Sang's version rather than Ryoshu's, just because Yi Sang's is way more interesting, to be frank. Ryoshu's definitely resembles Red Eyes way too much, just a bigger one. So it is. Yeah, I would like to, you know, base it as much as I can off of the big flashy seasonal version, but to be honest, Yi Sang's grabs my attention a lot more. We also have, this is trash crap. Kira, let me put her, sprite in. Which one do I want? I think I want this. Oh, I figured it would be fun to do another middle member, and be nice to have someone else in the City Legends portion. Because while she can possibly be thrown into a campaign, depending on, how the next intervallo goes, or whenever she comes back, I figure it's better just to put her in City Legends for now. So, and then we may see the certain Sinclair in there. That's going to be very much a fun experimental character. Why are we adding Kira instead of Big Brother? Because Big Brother is so big, I don't know how to actually design for him on his own. Kira is much lower scale, and also still carries a lot of the same mechanics. And then, a certain Sinclair will very much be meant to be an experimental ground for a lot of weird late-game mechanics, the kind of thing you would see in, like, a very late-game enemy. So... start. Let's do Great Trichiliocosm. So... I am doing well. Thank you for asking, Moss. Let's see. Man, I'm going to... my voice is feeling a bit down after all the streaming I've been doing. I'm going to adjust the volume on my mic. Make it louder, 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 make it louder. Okay. Oh, okay. That should be good. Okay, I should be a little louder now. I might be talking a little less clearly, but... Kira is also big. She is not a pushover by any means, but she is not quite as, like, late game as Matthias. So, I do want to do the Big Brother. That might be next stream. But I want to make her slightly weaker than a Big Brother, individually. Like, I think if you put her and Ricardo in the same fight, they would be comparable. Kira does have the level advantage, but I think Ricardo has the moveset advantage, if that makes sense. She is, indeed, technically not part of the middle. So, let me figure out. So, go to you. Okay. So, burn, sinking, poise, thinking count, burn. This shattered world effect. Interesting. It doesn't do too much, frankly. Managers from TFT? I actually did start that at one point, but it was a while ago, and I never got back to it. Yep, sinking burn, baby. Let's see. I do know one effect I want to put on this. On kill. In on special status fate. And let me grab fate. So, because this is an ego all about shattering realities, I want to kind of play into the sort of fate aspect of that and chance. And oh, well, I should just copy the whole damn thing. I'm including it. So this will be, I think, the first act time players get access to Fate. Boom. So what Fate does, it's the old version of Poise, where for one Fate you just max out your die. Simple as that. So... how many dice? I think... yeah, this one's 4 dice, the other is 3. Duplicate this. Yeah. Glad to hear you're enjoying the system. That is a very cool corrosion. Oh, interesting. She's like skeletal. Okay. So I do want to take from both, but it will mostly be this. This is the same. So I think... I think Fate is going to take the place of Poise, just because they fill the same niche. So I think we're just going to be Burn and Sinking. Fate already lets you get crits. It's literally the old Poise, so... Doing a lot of fillers right now. Yeah, it's mostly... Thinking Burn. Yep. Not much other than this. This is a very boring ego, I will admit, despite the fact that it is cool as shit as well. Do you think Rupture will ever be added? I have made comments on Rupture before. Essentially, if I do add it, it will be Damage Tremor, but I don't have a strong need to do it right now. It doesn't. Rupture does not really add anything interesting to a character in terms of like thematics. That's kind of filled by just bleed or true damage or fragile stuff like that. So I guess we start with some infliction. So, I'm thinking Pierce and Slash. I think Pierce Slash. And Slash. So, how do we... I'm still wondering, how do we get the sort of sense of shattering something into multiple pieces? Because if you've watched the animation, it's cool as shit, but it's not really a mechanic that I can really figure out. I could do, like, breaking dice. I could do some sort of debuff. Fragile, maybe? Yeah, if anyone's got any suggestions, let me know. But I think... yeah, fragility. We could do vulnerable, too. Thorns would be a weird one, but it would fit with, like, shards of glass. Double the dice the opponents use, but they're half power. It is a crazy idea. It is not... yeah, some unique interaction with Sinking and or Burn would be good. We could have this be the first one to have 2 unique statuses. I am not opposed to that, as long as they can fit within the ego space over here. I could, I think. Remove all protection, resolve. You know what? We do. If I go to skill library. Another burn/sinking trigger. It is fairly thematic. It's not really necessary, though. I feel like you generally wouldn't want that unless you're doing, like, you know, you would want to keep it up for something like a sinking deluge or whatever. An extra trigger would not be the greatest. What was I? Where is it? A little higher than this. It's this. Shattered. Lasts, it's an until end of combat effect, so once you throw it out, it's there. That could be an option. Just a permanent debuff. Could, after use, inflict shattered on all targets below half of their maximum HP. That could be an option, and if we boom, boom, not a bad idea, but increase damage based on burning and sinking while also applying them. Yeah. Something where each use causes it to target more and more opponents. Not a bad idea, but I want to keep this a VOV, and VOVs are not meant to be spammable. Yeah. Some sort of form of sinking burn trigger might be good, but not in the way that halves it. And also, just essentially doubling the effect would also be very strong, even for a VOV. I could maybe do it for an Aleph. This is an ego that feels on the cusp of Aleph. Like, even if the Abno is a VOV, it feels like it could be a VOV that, you know, gives an Aleph ego equipment in LobCorp or whatever. So I'm not fully opposed to that. Something where it divides a status on the enemy with them. Got it. Set each target's burn and sinking to the highest amount. Hang on. Targets burned. Why did you not? Burn highest. Manga. Burn. Burn to the highest among them. Beat for sinking. I think that's a good idea. Thank you, Kaifan. You have inspired this. Oh, that is Feats Library, not... Where's Daslit? Thinking... and... burn. That, I think, will be very useful. which means I think we can get rid of this. So this is sort of the main function, I think. Yeah. So attack weight, I think I want this to be like full attack weight, so like 5. That'll hit most enemies unless you've got like a really wide array of enemies. If it's like a horde battle or whatever. Remove all protection and resolve from targets. And let's grab that. Resolve. Okay. That's good. Hit, inflict, or burn. Hit, thinking. Boop, boop. Do. That is good. And then for the final slash, what do we want that to inflict? That is the question. I'm thinking we could have it inflict both. We could... yeah, a smaller amount of both. Yeah, I think... yeah, I do think with these effects, we have 3 big major effects, so we don't need to... oh, that is just the same. Burn and... yeah, we don't need the hit effects to be too crazy, because I think these 3 all have good effects. So, let's set an ego passive. What are... inflict more burn and sinking with attack skills. Whenever a unit is killed due to burn damage, gain a damage up next turn for a random attack type. Random attack type. So does that mean like blunt, sinking, pierce, or sins? Yeah, very strong for Vaviugo. The numbers, I will say, aren't finalized. I'm not necessarily keeping these numbers. I am also open to making it Aleph. Just because I feel like it is somewhat fitting. And then... yeah. If the enemy is staggered or defeated, gain crit damage up next turn. That is so bad. That's a very underwhelming passive for... whenever you swap targets? So, like, if you hit someone you haven't hit yet in the sequence or something? When you hit someone who wasn't the last person you previously targeted? Yeah. I do kind of wish it was like a crit spiraling thing, like you were suggesting. That would have been neat. Maybe a little strong, but very neat. Yeah. An enemy is reduced to 1 stagger resist by the act of sinking, they suffer 1 feeble and 1 disarm at the start of the next scene, and whenever this needs to be folded, whenever enemy dies by the effects of burn, you gain 1 fate. Boom. This. You know what? No. And yeah, I was gonna do 2 different effects, but I think this works better. It's a lot simpler, doesn't take up as much text. This is nice because, yeah, I don't want this like hybrid status ego to force you specifically to use a hybrid status build. I try to avoid that when I can. I want it to combo with both statuses, but, you know, if you're doing just a burn build, but just a sinking build, or even neither, I still want this to be usable, as long as there is some of that status on your team. So, I do think I want this to be a weaker attack. And I also want it to be fairly expensive. So, what do I have for, like, Blind Obsession? 5 and 18. Makes sense. Give 1 poise all allies. No, 2 all allies. How long has that been there? Also, you don't have... There you go. So... Wait, 5. Cost 5 as well. So... I'm thinking 1d6 plus 2. Bad. And then for this one... Yeah, I think d6s will let you crit easily. Not too low. No, I think it's fine. Especially if you're getting these off unopposed. Pretty good. Fate, just automatically roll the maximum amount of die. So 1d6 plus 2, you would automatically get a total of 8. And that would make you automatically crit as well. This is the main thing you need to worry about. This part just means it cancels out with Paralyze. Yeah. It's the original Poise. It's what Poise was originally before I split Poise into pieces. So, it's funny because this is kind of putting Poise back together into the status it used to be. Yeah, Poise was weird previously, and then I fixed it. Alright. I think this works. Very colorful. We got the primary colors here on this ego and nothing else. So, yeah, I think that does it. Is there any... No room for... Oh, wait. We have this. I think... Are there corrosions in this system? No. I didn't want to make 2 versions of every ego, frankly. There is a corrosion feat, but that's more of a long-term corrosion. Like we see in Lobotomy Corp. Well, we don't see it in Lobotomy Corp, but is the thing they've been worried about in Lobotomy Corp, and... yeah. Yeah. But, corrosion, as it exists, isn't really something that I have a huge interest in using, especially because corrosion isn't really reversible for most people. Once it happens, it's kind of happened. And the only reason the sinners are able to come back from it is because of Dante. But yeah, there are various homebrews that I think use it. Okay, so I think we've got this. Yeah, let me get rid of you. Goodbye, trash crab. Kira. Let me go to the original middle members. Vengeance Mark. Boop. Boop. So I think she won't use it as much as others do, but she will make some use of it. So let's take a look at what she does. Alright. Enemy. Got bonus blunt, bonus blunt. Interesting. So she does a lot of true damage, or sort of true damage. Bleed. Thermal blades. Bleed. Gets praised. Yeah, so I'm mostly making her as just her own fight, if you were to fight her alone or with some more normal enemies. So I'm not going to implement the praised mechanics. Metal augmentation tattoos. I don't really feel a need to track that, but I will be using some of the things that it gives. Okay, yeah. A lot of slash, a lot of blunt. Makes sense. Yeah, a lot of true damage. And then her counter. This is interesting. This is kind of what makes her fight neat. She can reuse the counter a few times per turn. Okay. Thermal blades off. Oh, does she? I didn't see. How does she activate her blades? Hey, what? Oh. I needed to scroll down. Okay, makes sense. So it's if she gets praised, she turns them on. So I'll need to figure out a new condition for that. Okay. So, and what of her resistances? Slightly weak to pierce. So I'm going to say that's a stagger weakness. What the fuck am I? Okay. Apparently holding control and backspace does weird things. Oh, no, that should be a plus. And you, 0, 0, 0. And you should have some blunt and slash resist as well. Okay. So you really want to use Pierce with her. And for health, let's see. Give you quite a lot. What's the closest comparison to her power level that I want? I kind of need to buff and some boss's HP as well at some point, because that was voted on as being a bit of a problem. But let's do 270. And for stagger resist, and speed. I think she's she's not very speedy, but she looks like she's meant to be speedy, and it's just a matter of the fact that Limbus does not want to make speedy enemies because of how speed works in this, and the fact that if they roll high speed, they're all their skill slots are high speed instead of how it otherwise is. Let's check this, just a brief. Yeah, I don't think she's too different here. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, Vengeance Mark. Kira turns on the heat blades. Yeah, let's do... Taught is a weird word. I'm gonna say at the start of each scene, if enemy present has 5 or more vengeance mark, they gain thermal blade. Boop, you need to be capitalized. I'm making a lot of mistakes tonight. I am still very tired from Canto 9, if you cannot tell. That was a Canto, so yesterday very much knocked me the fuck out. And let's grab the thermal blades back. Hello, Sinclair. It's boom, boom. Images. Sprites. No, not sprites. Still statuses. Wait. Oh, icons. That's right. Icons and then statuses. Then general. Then keys. Gonna have to. It gets harder and harder to find what you want in this dock, particularly here. Revise once the ID drops. Honestly, I don't expect too much crazy from her ID that would really change how I view this. Maybe, but we kind of know, based on her appearance, she's mostly just a normal middle member, but with cool burn. Maybe there's gonna be some crazy surprise, but I doubt it. S P. Where? Oh. Thermal blades. Boom! There we go. Took a second. Status. Thermal blades. Should this be like it is in the actual game, where it's based on bleed infliction? Or should it be just on hit, inflicts burn? I think... I think just on hit. Inflict. I don't even know how much bleed I want to give her. It's because... How much bleed did I give these guys, actually? One instance of bleed, so yeah, I'm not too interested in making her super bleed focused. Perfect. 2 burn. It should be a notable amount. R. Status list. Burn. Is let's not do lose. Let's say remove. Remove at the end of the scene. Just to make things clear. And now, light. Shit. Let's say 10 light. She's gonna need it. Because I think 5 speed dice is good. Let's do 5 regen as well. Oh, no, because she has less counter die than the less speed die than the party, because she's going to be relying on stuff like counter die to sort of keep her going. So actually, no, I think I want to give her a different gimmick. So I'm actually... I should reconsider that gimmick. My thought was I will give her basically an unopposed attack when she's hit, based on certain conditionals. So, like, if a target has a lot of Vengeance Mark, she'll just hit them back so she can get the Vengeance Mark off. Let's see. I'll get you back for this. Is the real name... No. This. Capitalize those. Get you back for this. Don't want to change the music for... Well, I can change the music for you guys. This music is putting me to sleep. Let's choose the actual battle theme for the character I'm working on. That sounds a lot more interesting. Which means I need to grab it from here. I do not want to fall asleep in the middle of a stream, so let's make this more exciting. Audio. Soundtrack? I could have sworn... No. I could have sworn soundtracks referred to vocal themes as well, but I guess not. Canto 9. That's right, it's songs that is, vocal themes. Battle theme. It was... Plus Battle 6, right? There we go. Okay, download that. Okay, let me... Sorry. Detour for fun music. This will be worth it, I promise. BGM, properties. There we go. Okay. Let me know if it's too loud. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. It might be too quiet. Let me know if it's too quiet as well. And let me play it for myself. Okay. This will hype us. Alright. It's good? Alright. So. Let's see. Start each game with a copy of the following counter die for every opponent. You know what? If she's getting thermal blades for every opponent past 5 or more, or if an opponent has 5 or more. I'm wondering if I want to have her sort of alternate. Basically, if an opponent has 5 or more Vengeance Mark, gain Thermal Blades, but for every opponent with less than that amount of Vengeance Mark, then she will gain a counter die. That way, you can get Vengeance Mark to keep her open, but she will be more dangerous on a hit, whereas if you try to avoid getting Vengeance Mark, then if you try to avoid getting Vengeance Mark, then she's going to just keep countering it. That should be neat. Yeah, having her switch is fun, and it makes... Yeah, so I'm not going to give her this effect. Instead, I'm going to put the Vengeance mark on her counter. So if she loses the clash with the counter, then she will apply Vengeance mark. Who has... You do not have any counters, do you? Where would I find a counter? Blade Lineage. Counter Slash. I will not actually have it be that high. 3. Flash. Lose. Inflict 3 vengeance mark on the attacker. Opponent with less than 5 vengeance mark. So if you don't let her do her cool stuff, she'll give you vengeance mark. I think that's a good way to have her personality sort of shine through in her kit. Where would you find a counter? There's a few on enemies, if you know where to look. Oh, yeah. Okay, you were making a joke. Never mind! Yes, the humble Blade Lineage mentor. Always here for us. I need to make the rest of the Blade Lineage at some point, and the Kurokuma clan. Okay, so let's... What other passives could I give her? We have this. Don't really know what to do for her tattoos at the moment. You know what? Middle... I could do just middle style tattoos, because that is basically... Middle styled. Yeah, middle. Just keep it middle styled. But these, as opposed to what they don't didn't actually give tattoo-based passive to them. But middle styled tattoos. The start of each scene, gain 1 resolve for every 50 missing HP on self. So she's easy to stagger the first time, but once she's lower on health, it gets very hard. So let's grab resolve. On Evader Clash Win? Yeah, I probably should at least make some rules for combo tags at some point. Oh, yeah. I am going to buff the HP of bosses specifically. Yeah. I want her to be basically a boss on her own, just because the Sinners fight her essentially alone. Like, her dad is doing a completely different fight. The two fights are not overlapping much except for Moses. And make her fast, because she should be fast, given her fighting style. Okay. Is that all the base stuff? I think so. Okay, let's get rid of these crab skills. So, what are her skills again? Time for some warm-up. Okay. Totally badass ass-kicking. Fixer disemboweling. Yeah, I do want to generally just make stronger bosses. I think I've been playing a bit too safe with most enemies so far. Just because I underestimated what players could get up to early on. And since this is like a level 9 plus boss fight, so this is not for new players. This is not for players who don't already have more or less 2 speed dice and 2 light. An average throughout the party at least. Yeah, I did like that mechanic for the most part, but that second Matthias fight was bullshit. I will admit. Interesting. Okay. Violet Bargain Slam. Okay. Crossing Dervish. Let's do a big attack first. These are both attack weight. I think I want to make a big attack weight 2 attack. Since she's using 2 blades, hitting 2 people, I think is reasonable. So, Bloodbreaking Slam. I think Crossing Dervish. I think slash blunt is good for this. And then bleed. Yeah, so let's do it. Inflict. Bleed. And then I think for this one, roll and fight with 9 phases. Yeah, totally. Yeah, no. A roll and fight would probably just have 10 skills total. 1 for each weapon, and then Furioso. Hit. Inflict. 1. Roll. I think I'm just gonna put Paralyze here instead of on the individual coins. Oh, that's actually on Violet Breaking Slam. Yeah, then in that... Oh, why did I not want to close the tab? There we go. Let's take that off then. Hit. Oh, an additional 3 damage and stagger. There we go. And then I want to give you attack weight 2. And yeah, I think that works well. Let me just double check the base for status list. I keep mixing up status and skill when I'm just glancing over them. Yeah, that's not too bad of a skill for a higher level party. That is strong but dealable. Especially with evade dice. Which I do want to make sure she has tools to avoid, but I do also think it's fine for her to be a little weak to that. If that makes sense. But now I can get rid of this. I think leading with her biggest attacks is good. Oh my god, 5 coin. what are we designing this stream? We did Great Trichiliocosm. We are doing Kira, and you can also see we're going to be doing a certain Sinclair at the very end. That's going to be a very experimental one. So this one, so this slash, I'm just gonna do 4 dice, because I don't want to go too crazy, because nothing in the game really lets you get 5 dice. At least not easily. Not anything normal. It has to be like an ego or something, so I want to make sure you can deal with this with just normal skills and without an evade. Speaking of which, I want to make sure this is good against evade, so do this. Something along these lines. Can only be used while user has thermal blade. Yeah. A certain Sinclair is going to be me having fun with bullshit. That's about it. Okay, so bleed, paralyze, hit, licked, paralyze. Extra die plus ready for anything? Yeah. Like, there are some ways, but most builds aren't going to have it. Most builds are not going to go for... Where is ready for anything? Oh, yeah. Dodge and weave and ready for anything. Yeah, there are 4 die options, plus an extra die, but I do not want to expect most players to have that. Flash, lose, inflict, 1, vengeance, mark on the target. And boom. There we go. And then we need some weaker skills. So I'm just gonna... It doesn't feel right to have this kind of name for just a very basic skill. Actually... Yeah, no, this is her 0 cost, of course. Boop. Oh my god, I just realized I could have copied attack weight from there. So make this like a kick and then a weak slash. And I'm just going to... No, you know what? Let's do slash and then the kick. And honestly, that's just a strong skill on its own. That's fine. Oh. Or more game to light as well. So, yeah, she'll get really strong at her last phase. And then... Sorry. I'm gonna go back to this, because I don't like how blank that is. I mean... deal more damage at lower HP, so I could do a check. There ever be unique skills based on the nurse fathers or apprentices? Maybe. Depends on anything, if anything really catches my eye when I look through their kits. Now, I make unique skills in order to fulfill mechanics that I don't think I could fulfill on modules and stuff. So if I don't have a mechanic, I usually won't make a unique skill. It is mechanics first, and then fulfilling the fan service later. Let's do it. Deal 1 additional damage for every 30 missing HP on self. Furioso is a unique skill. Yeah, maybe someday. Maybe they'll be in Smoke and Mirrors. Oh, and we've... oh, there we go. Okay. Evil 9-die reuse. Interestingly, it is just a 1-die skill in Runa. That's very funny, because they absolutely had the technology to make it 9 dice. They just didn't. 1 big die is all you get. I do wonder how, the Index Nurse Father Yisang is gonna look like, kit-wise. They can't not give him some form of Furioso, even if it's a much weaker one. Will Roach King be in Smoke and Mirrors? Probably, yeah. At least stuff like him. What do I want to do for... we need a 2 cost, and I want to give her some... no, let's do totally badass ass kicking. I want to give her an evade. Evade. And then check our... yeah, mistaking coins and dice is fully understandable. I do it myself a lot. You know what? 1d8 plus 5 evade. Fuck you. That should be enough to at least be able to clash with most 1-die skills without being a guarantee. And then I think slash blunt. Those inflict 2. Vengeance mark. So the justification for vengeance mark when it appears is you are preventing him from doing his crazy her. Why am I saying him? You've got me messed up talking about all these other characters. When you prevent her from doing her cool shit, she inflicts vengeance mark. So that is the justification for where I'm putting it. So like on evade, she's trying to do a cool dodge, and you're preventing that. For Violet Breaking Slam, you're interrupting her big fun attack. Yeah, and remember, you absolutely can just get rid of, God damn you. And then... yeah. Hit. Inflict 2 bleed. I do want to keep some bleed on her, but... yeah, she is absolutely, I think, going to turn out to be a damage queen. She deals a lot of fucking damage between Vengeance Mark and Thermal Blades. I want to really encourage this. And... I don't know if this is too much, but... adding win rate button as a unique skill. No? Huh, why are you not... do that? Okay. So, gain protection equal to the number of opponents without enough vengeance mark. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, so she'll switch. That will make her defensive form a lot better, even if she is losing her counter attacks. I think that's good. The other 3 G-Corp Legends, we don't know enough about them. If, for whatever godforsaken reason, I feel like they would fit into one of my own campaigns, I might throw them in and then put them in the guide through that. But while I do have some loose ideas for the Moth Princess, really, I'm not going to do anything unless I have a solid idea. I'm not going to try and force that out, unless I'm actually going to be using it myself. That would be in a high-level campaign. And I am nowhere near being able to run that. Okay. And then 2 skills left. So let's do Fixer Disemboweling. Let's actually have this be her only source of Pierce dice. Hit. Use. Our next die by 3. Yeah. Yeah, Blade of Volition can definitely lead to some shenanigans. If you know how to use the skill right. That's kind of part of why I might redo that skill in Faith and Firearms. Okay. So... yeah, just bleed. Let's do check power +2 if user has blades. Hint, increase the power of the next die by 3. Yep, okay. That should be good for a 1 cost. And then I need another 1 cost, because she does not have the most light regen, so I want to make sure she has options for low cost. Yeah, I have thought of modules that specifically hate different creature types. I'm just not sure how to balance it, specifically because of the fact that some campaigns it will be very clear if you are fighting a lot of certain types of enemies, and other campaigns it's not. So I don't want to make a module that's so campaign dependent. What I was looking for. And then, boom. Oh. So, last skill. I think I gotta come up with a name because I've used all. What for the last one? What is something that would keep players on their toes while still being fit for a 1 cost? Oh, I said... yeah, some 1-da, I think. What is the basis for a 1-da again? 1d8 plus 3. Okay. Let's do Flying Kick. Call it that. And then... Blunt. Yeah. Hit. Inflict. 1. Paralyze. Is that how you spell disemboweling? I might have just... Boweling. Yep, there we go. Yep. She is no longer bowling. You know what? Shit. Check for the opposing guy is the only one on 6. Do not apply for decks. And let's do that in italics, so it's more of a reminder text. Okay. And let's give it on use in one paste. Specifically fucking you over for single die skills. Yeah, it is absolutely meant to be nasty. You know what, if we're doing that big check, make it a little harder. Yeah. 1 paralyze is not the end of the world, especially at this level, but it will hurt. It will still not be fun. Okay. Yep. I know Ham is adamant that single dice are the sort of best option right now, and I don't disagree, which is why I want to make sure there are ways to punish it. Yep, getting kicked right in the light regen, exactly. Yeah, but remember, enemies are meant to do bigger numbers than players generally, because players will have a lot of strategy on their side. Players have a good number of advantages, so enemies need to be able to do something nasty. It cannot be a fair fight. Each side needs to have their own bullshit. Yep. Okay. Alright. I'm thinking she's done. I don't want to add a recommended level for enemies, because it very much depends on how you're using them. And against how many players, how many allies they have. Building encounters is more about, you know, the team you're going up against, rather than the individual enemies. You could fight her at level 9 and be fine. You could fight her and, like, 2 little brothers at level 9 and be absolutely fucked. Or, you know, fight her and 2 little brothers at level fucking 17, let's say. And they will still put up a challenge about the same as maybe if you were fighting her alone at level 9. Whatever. You get the idea. It very much depends on how you're using them. And also, is she, you know, the final boss of the mission? Or is she an earlier game boss where you can spend a lot more of your resources? Do you have, yeah. Yeah, the speed die economy is what is the most important. As long as that's roughly equal, you're good. And since she has counter dice and an AoE, she has options. She has ways of evening the field against a much higher amount of speed dice. Okay. I think we're good on Kira. Does anyone else have anything they would like to note? I think we are good. You know what? Do I want to put these in all at the end like I've been doing, or do I want to put them into the actual dock now? Adding bind on the zero cost skill. I don't... Oh. It's already a very good zero cost. Especially with her having other on-hit effects and ways to deal damage. Give her a passive that lets her be attacked by allies. You gotta wait until we get to the Matthias stat block. Matthias, I don't know how you say it. I've heard Matthias be used in like a video game or two. But I'm pretty sure it's Matthias. Anyway. I think... Okay, let's put her into the enemy library. Let's see. She's going to go into City Legends. House of Spiders. Spider... Let's do a web. Boom. Boom. Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna put her in the normal middle section, just because City Legends is the place for actual named characters most of the time. Unless I have a really good justification for putting them in the generics, but... Leo Ishmael, oh, shit, what? When did that happen? It's not doing that on my end. I'm seeing it just be normal. It is functioning exactly as it should on my end. Yeah, honestly, using Envy Pekatula to bring in bosses from the series is fun for if you can make it make sense. As like a bonus boss, absolutely, you could throw it in. If it's like a main boss, only do it if it like really makes sense and ties into the story. Like you want to, like say your players are in like an area that is connected to a certain Project Moon character, maybe an NV Pekatula is used to help sort of explain this figure that has had a big impact on the area. If that makes sense. Or just, you know, as a fun one-shot, whatever. Do what you will, but... Throwing in City Legends for no reason can absolutely break the pacing of a campaign if you're not doing it right. But if you're just goofing off, go for it. Okay. Let's also add Great Trichiliacosm. Oh. Ego library. Okay. Oh, that seems like a neat boss design. Okay. So let me put this into the changelog in the Discord, and we will get to our final creation of the night. Heliocosm to the Ego Library. Added a Kira stat block to City Legends. Okay. And now, I did not prepare the thing for this. Let's delete that. Let's just straight up duplicate you. So, now we have this. So, here's a problem. I decided to do this, without checking for... Yeah, there is no wiki entry for a certain Sinclair. That might be a bit of a problem. However, it is easy for me to go into Limbus and bring up that fight. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to, however, make sure I have tabs and everything set up right. Okay. So, this is going to take me a second. I have to light up the fight. Unfortunately, you won't be able to see it, just because I don't want to... Actually... Shit. Game input capture... Oh, there we go. That should do it. Alright, let's load this up. Nope, that is Excavation. What am I doing? Force of Habit. Where? Ooh. I love this mess of nodes. Boop, boop. Okay, here we go. Whatever. I have not seen him in the... Hang on. Sinclair... Enemy. Yeah, I'm not seeing... /A... Third... Are you talking about maybe the WikiGG one? Or... Anyway. So... We have him here. Thankfully. However... let me... Graphics... Out of full screen, you... Oh, what? There we go. Oh, I need to... Gotcha. Shrink you down! So I can actually look at things. Okay. Been adjusted. Yeah. So, speed conditionals, interesting. Poise count, rupture, and bleed. Speed, rupture, bleed. Interesting. So this is a follow-up from his stagger. Yeah, I didn't see him on the wiki. Yeah, the GG wiki. I haven't been able to find him there. I mean, I can look him up, like... Oh, there he is! Okay. Look at that. Why was this so hard to find? What links to this? What? I typed in... Okay, hang on. Let me guys show you what I'm seeing. Okay, so we have that, but... if I just search a... What? Oh, come on! Okay, so this must have just been added. Because I could not find this. Okay. Alright, well, that makes things easier than messing with the... Sinclair. Okay. Let me grab... So it should be boss 7, I believe? Yes, okay. Grab that. Well, okay. So... now that I have that, I can adjust the background music, properties, Canto boss battle theme, 7. And then change what I'm playing on my end, do that as well. Control F4? Oh gee! Isn't it Alt F4 that shuts things down? I don't know what Control F4 does. Yeah, very Doom-like, this theme. Okay. So, this guy... Let me take a look at his passives, just so I'm clarified on the lore. Abraxas Chariot is the Air Force name. So, Abraxas Chariot... Do I want to call him the Green Deliverance? Do I want to call him Abraxas Chariot Captain? I don't think I would just want a certain Sinclair. Not actually. I do want to call him Sinclair. Sinclair. Abraxas Chariot. And this, bring in his actual sprite. Boom. Something like that. Yeah, the Green Deliverance just isn't an official enough title, I think. Human leader. And he needs to be SOTC. since we don't know if he's part of a company still or not. 600. No, if he's meant to be a leader, he'll have allies, so let's give him 500. And 180. Oh, 190. What's his speed value? 37, so pretty normal speed. However, he is what is essentially a paratrooper. So he should probably be fast. Let's do that. And then because I'm designing him around the idea that he is a leader, yeah, this is like an enemy you fight in the last few levels of the campaign, if not, like, at EX levels, for when we get Smoke and Mirrors. Let me get a copy. Oh, I did not put my music on loop. Yours should be looping fine. Let me know if it's not. Boom. Does he have... So... 11 light, I think, is good. Light regen 6. So he is not... Remember, I am not necessarily doing this based on him being the only person fought in this encounter. He is assumed to have some 2/2 allies with him as well, just because his lore seems to indicate that he is some sort of captain. Yeah, some sort of sinking resistance, I think, is good. But let's focus on the core. Does he have a weakness? He does. He has pretty normal synth stat spreads. So let's do +1, -1, -2, -2, 0, 0. You can have something stronger. -4, -1. Cool. I don't feel like giving him Shin as a status necessarily. Because doesn't he just have it? Huh. Weird. Yeah, I don't know. But I do want to keep in mind that certain mechanics, certain things about him might just be part of normal mechanics, as with most bosses. Remember, when it comes to designing for the tabletop RPG, simplify things as much as possible. Yeah, this wiki page is not done, clearly. I think it only just popped up. Okay. So, I think it's time to go through the passives. So, dismantle prosthesis. I do not necessarily want this to be a creature type based effect, because I think that, you know, most players will still remain human, and I don't want to necessarily punish based on prosthesis. So, I want to instead focus on the idea of him chopping through machines and what that would entail, and what I figure is No. Mental prosthesis. This unit's / dice gain +2 power against block dice and ignore resistance. So basically he's cleaving through metal. He can cleave through metal just fine. So this, you know, will counter any upgraded players just fine. But not completely focus them down. Withstand the smoke. Withstand the smoke. I don't want him to completely counter sinking, but definitely having sinking resistance is good. This takes half as much stagger damage from the effects of sinking and sinking. Oosh. Boom. 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 And then an ally becomes immobilized due to external effects before turn end. Use abate the smoke. Resistance to stagger in general. I think I still want him to be staggerable. I do kind of like that his kit is still very much base ID-like. It's just very strong base ID. Umbra. If an ally is present and gets staggered, he just unstaggers them. I don't think he really does anything like that here, no. But we can do something with abate the smoke. Whenever their ally is staggered, use abate the smoke without using a speed die. At the end of triggered by an enemy skill, just to keep weird timing stuff. Of that skill. Targeting the attacker. So, do that for now. Now I think I want to do something pretty more unique for Abraxas' Chariot. Airborne is... yeah, Airborne is spelled like that. Airborne Forces... Abraxas... Chariot. Stealth status could be interesting, but he doesn't really seem like stealth so much as he is dropping in from the sky and killing you. So, at the start of the first scene combat, unless surprised, gain 2 strength and inflict 1 fragile on hit if the enemy has 5 or less fragile. Oh, I don't have to do that. I can go here. Oh, no. No. Because I'm doing an ongoing effect, this needs to be during the first scene of combat, unless surprised, get into frame, and yeah. Boom. So, he absolutely is here to fuck you up during the first scene. I can't see the whatever text is for Umbra Unsealed. Doesn't it refer to the sword as a relic, though? No, rupturing bastard sword. On hit, remove 1, reduce the count of a boon of this choice on target by 1. Yeah, I closed the game and I don't want to open it back up, because it'll take a second to get in. It is not worth it for just 1 status. Does it not have flavor text? That's mostly what I'm interested in. Okay. So... got that. And then... at the end of the scene... move all of one ailment on self. So you gotta hit him with multiple ailments. You can't just stack one thing the whole time. You know what, not all. I won't be that mean, because that kind of kills any sort of tremor. Half of one ailment. And then... more ego resources doesn't really matter for a enemy unit. If it was something player side, I would say, like, probably emotion points or whatever, but doesn't matter here. Fate lost. Okay. This seems good for now. You know what? No. You could do something like that. I think we're mostly good. I'm just wondering if I want to do something for the sign. I'll leave it for now. And I will come back to it if I feel like he needs something. Anyway, let's do the crazy shit first. True Decapitation Death Blow. I actually need a skill for this. Boop. Boop. True Decapitation Death Blow. I'm actually gonna make this a 2 cost, but this skill can be used only once per scene. Okay. Clash lose. If the opposing die is an offensive die, destroy it before it hits. So this is very different from what an Excision coin normally does. However, the point of an Excision coin is to be a gimmick to counter another gimmick. And what is a major gimmick currently in Stars of the City? Big die! So, this is a way for him to have a tool to fuck you up if you rely too heavily on that. However, it is not going to absolutely be crazy, unless we do a little something like this. Fuck you! So this is how to make this skill scary. So, I do want to give a lot of late game enemies ways to fuck over the big clash with one die skill, without making that, strategy just irrelevant. It is just one thing to make sure you have another option, not necessarily something to shut down your entire skill all of the time. But this, and I want to make sure... I'd say this is honestly a decent, size to have for this. 1d4 plus 12? Honestly... I do think having a smaller die and a larger bonus is good. And then hit, gain 4 poise, I think, is good. Then what else does it do? Not now. Check. No. Actually, I don't think I want to do that because I don't want him to just save poise forever. Yeah, Excision might get made into a tier 3 module. I'll have to think about it and think of all the weird interactions it can have. Because that can absolutely shut down tons of boss skills. Okay. And then... didn't we... hang on, I actually need to go back to the trash crabs. Don't they have... yes. Eminence. No, I want to make that after once per scene. So, we have that. We have some crazy bullshit. No, I want to bring this back up, because I reduced it when I was going to make a check, and then I didn't make the check. Honestly, does this need to be once per scene? I might take that off. Good question. Yeah, giving a crit effect might be good. But... deal plus 10. Not 20. 10 damage. And yeah, that justifies it's only once per scene thing. Okay. Now let's go into his skill 1. Downward swing. I'm just gonna make this 1 hit. Poise, poise, rupture, bleed. Not too much. It's still less than a... Oh, hang on. Plus 0. That's what I meant to do. Hit. Inflict on fragile. Do I want to give him proper bleed? How much bleed does he actually use? He does not use a lot of bleed. No. He does not use enough for me to really justify. You think he does? Let's do... Check. Let's reduce this, but... Power... plus 2... I'm gonna be mean. Power plus 3 if the user's speed is higher than the target's by 4 or more. N-Corp is looking to hunt... So, a part of N-Corp is looking to hunt down prosthetic users. Also, when looking at the fact that he is specialized in fighting prosthetic users, don't think that means he's on N-Corp's side. This looks like it's probably at least a 3-way conflict. So while he is good at hunting down prosthetic users, that does not mean he is on the same side as N-Corp, who started the war. Keep in mind, it's looking like prosthetic users band together in response to N-Corp and form their own side, probably. Sort of a transhumanism movement. And because you're killing all of the weak, friendly prosthetic users, you are only going to be left with the mean ones who do not mind turning themselves into living war machines. Unused gain haste, yeah. Boop. Just a little bit. You can have other bigger haste on other skills. Oh, I just thought of something mean. Oh, I just thought of something mean. I'll get to that in a sec. Halberd combo. I think what I want to do is I want to make this guy a debuff, specifically guy. Adding haste to true decapitation, death blow. I don't feel like it's necessary. You can have other sources of haste. I want to make this guy, I think, into a buff-debuff master. I think I think I don't want to give him too many ailments. Just focusing on debuffs. Actually, I'm wondering, is this the same names as his base ID? Yes, it is. Interesting. He he loses a coin. He loses a coin on this. And Ravaging Cut turns into... Yeah, I don't have much of a care for specific shin mechanics on him. It's just kind of auto-included in some of his attacks and passives. On a certain Sinclair... I mean, yeah, okay. Yeah, I could have checked that as well. Yeah, the third coin was holding him back. It was too heavy. Oh, hang on. Okay. Halberd combo. Let's see. Boop. Hit. Inflict one vulnerable. Yep. Yeah, I knew about the Night Drifter and Shitun stuff. And I want to make this one blunt. Oh, what the fuck am I doing? I have... Blunt. Hit. Inflict. 2. Bind. Unused skin, poison, haste. I think I want poise, but I don't think I want haste. Unuse. Gain 3 poise. Boop. I think that looks good. Strong skill, not overwhelming. Crunch, specialized spear combat. Okay. Specialized. Yeah. I think I want to make this proactive. proactive. Gain 1 strength. So if you can slow him down enough that he has to use this reactively, then that's very good for you. Oh, no. Boom. Yeah, I think I want to keep this as 3 cost, and this can be as 2 cost. Proactive, gain 1 strength. And then I think I want Pierce on the first die and Slash on the other dice. And then and 1 disarm. Oh, there we go. Okay, and 3 bind and 1 fragile. Let's make this stronger. 26, 28, 28. Let's do like that. That looks fun. And then it inflicts too fragile and 2 vulnerable? Yeah, not terrible. Inflict on people. I think instead, though, boom. Okay. This can be bigger. This can be... Push. Hit. I'll come back to this one. I have an idea for the next skill that I want to start on. However, I will be right back. It won't take long. Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, let's move on to the next skill, because I have an idea for this one. What would... Is this... Oh, wait, we have to use abate the smoke. Shit. We still have to have... Well, I guess this is the first enemy I'm doing this for. This has always been an option, but I've never needed to use it. Oh. That's going to delete everything. Oh, there we go. Let's call it Facing Hell. Costs 2. Reactive. If the opposing skill has... shit, how do... Okay. Attack... 8. 8. 2 more. And the... No. The skill no longer targets one other ally of this. Yeah, Ravaging Cut is another good skill name. This gun no longer targets one other ally of this unit's choice. And the extra weight is wasted. Okay, there we go. So, he can jump in for an ally to protect them from attack weight. Boom. And he needs a block die somewhere, I think. Slash lose. Gain 2 action. What am I doing? Status list. Protection. Throw that on you. Yeah, using his base ego as a skill could be good also. And then... slash. It if this die is posed, gain 1. You know what? No. Actually... Yeah, let's keep it. Whatever. The main use is for this. This is... It's a defensive tool. It's interesting how they use the equipped ego in the, wiki. That's neat. He has no defense skill. What's his normal defense skill? Counter. Okay. Then let's do Ravaging Cut. Yeah, welcome to the stream. This is Star of the City, the tabletop RPG, and this is major Canto 9 spoilers. We are making a stat block for a certain Sinclair. So, you are welcome to stick around and learn what a TTRPG is. If you want to know more, there is a link in the description to the full rulebook. Absolutely free. Specialized spear combat. So this is Ravaging Cut. Just flash. See, the thing is, he doesn't really need many more skills past this, actually. He just needs 2 more, right? No, 3 more. Okay. So, I'm gonna keep it like this, because this is like his normal skill list, and then these 3 are special. So, starting off, evade the smoke. Special skill used only for the withstand the smoke. Passive. On use. All allies gain 2 resolve. And then let's double check what it does. I think it's mostly just a normal attack though, isn't it? Yeah, it's an attack weight skill, but I don't like it being attack weight here. Deal a lot more slash damage. Okay. Slash. Check. Power +1 for every unique debuff on target and every unique buff on self. Fade the smoke to be ally buffer or self buffer, maybe? I assume you mean like barrier or something. I could do that, but I think protecting all other allies from getting staggered is generally, I think, fairly useful and works for what I'm thinking. Oh, ally buffer. Okay. Sorry, I thought you meant like buffer as in like a health buffer or whatever. No, buffs for allies. Got it. Like buffs. Applying buffs. My bad. Yeah. So, obeyed the smoke. All allies gain resolve. I don't know if I want to make it a bait. I think it is a bait. So, and I think that's good. Let's do branch of knowledge. And let's do something fucky. On use, roll 4. If the result is even, double the count of all buffs on self. All buffs self gain 5 poise. Yeah, I think Branch of Knowledge will be limited in its number of uses. Like, maybe even just 1 or 2 uses. Oh, you know what? Can only be used on every third thing. Odd, double the count of all debuffs on each target. And this is big Branch of Knowledge, so he gets a little bit of attack weight. And then big ol' slashy. Not D10 plus 12. So, yeah, this is gonna hurt. And it should cost... not 12 plus 13. And then hit, inflict. Oh, 10 plus... no, that's not... Alright, okay. I think... we're on to the final skill now. Bastard sleep, unrestrained grip. Three. Limit. 1. Before the target spawns, before the target determines their skill, reveal the contents of this skill. Okay. So, big haste, big poise, big power, big fragile, big crit. Okay. Oh, I want to... Flash win. If opposing... let me just copy from this. So, no, that needs to be a clash loose as well. I want this also to have the excision effect, but not the clash win, I think. So, clash lose. Usable only at, I'm gonna say 200 HP or below. Oh yeah, having it be uninterceptable might be a good idea. Oh, that copied weird. Oop. Let's combine these so that it's not super long. However, I do think I will need to merge these. There we go. One very long skill. I just need... 1d8 plus 3 hit. You know what? I'm just gonna do this in advance. I mean, I think the fact that this has to have essentially 2 skill slots dedicated to it should show that it's fucked up and evil. Up to 1 time. So I want to specifically change reuse to recycle, like it is in Ruina, and then I want to specifically define how recycle works in the base rules at some point. I also need to clarify stagger ends ongoing skills. Oh, this also needs an eminence effect, I think, of just... Eminence. Users HP and stagger resist cannot drop below 1 during this skill. Hit me, Winged Czar. That's just an on-use effect! However, on-use, gain 4 haste. I don't want to give poise because I think this is the big poise payoff. Yeah, next scene haste is really bad in Stars of the City. This is made for same turn haste. Yeah, I think I want this to be the poise payoff. So the reason I'm doing like this is because of the fact that this is his big Shichun attack. So it's the... Well, it's a little bit in the wrong order, but it's like the big strike in the center, and then the 4 strikes with all of the other... with all the other symbols. So, so... Crit, deal, +5 damage. Crit, damage. The fact that this can just go for someone who is staggered is nasty. Do I wanna... Honestly... Oh, shit. I think I want to make his speed dice D10, actually. Since I'm not giving him all that much haste. Except for on this skill and here. No, I think we're good. User or not. Now, this is more of a story thing, and you can already decide what happens in the story. Unkilled user gains power for the rest of the battle. Nah, I think we're good. Well, yeah, maybe what happens... Well, that wasn't this skill that was used, was it? That was like a big tornado thing. Okay, I think we're good. This is already going to kill. I don't really need to give it another kill effect. Yeah. Okay. Honestly, I think we're good. Yeah, this is, Yep. So, I think... Yes, this is a German. I think this kit is good. Especially considering he has, 8 skills, and he's not even meant to be the only enemy in the combat. Yeah. So, this guy is absolutely not meant to really be a fair fight. He's just meant to show off bullshit mechanics that might be seen later in the future. Cigarette emoji. Let's actually move this here. Okay. Added boss fight that work. Let me spoiler that for Canto 9 because we are not past the 1 week spot. Yeah, I might make the Cockroach Emperor at some point. And to potential late game enemy effects that aren't exactly fair. Okay. And also, I want to showcase the new bit of the roadmap. Highly dependent on how Limbus proceeds in the future, and also how active this system in a and to so. Okay. Boom. Alright, so this has been a pretty neat stream. And I think we are just about done. So, thank you all so much for being here. This was pretty good considering I did forget I was doing this today. I got a reminder I had set up at 7:30 and I had to rush to get things prepared. But this has been a long one, but a fun one. Next stream will probably just be some more basic enemies. So, I will see you then. Take care. It's wonderful being with you. See ya!